My little human brain cannot comprehend what guys like Mike Trout and Jacob deGrom do on a daily basis. If you missed his start yesterday, Jacob deGrom made Major League Baseball history, and we're going to go ahead and talk about it because not only was it one of the better pitching performances of all time, if you could rank the best baseball player performances, this has to be in the top 20, top 10. He was doing everything yesterday. Either way, what's going on, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap. We have so much to talk about. Not only Jacob deGrom making MLB history, but a few injury updates. The Cubs are exploding. 15 runs scored yesterday, and then the Yankees are back in business, along with Fernando Tatis kind of showboating on the Dodgers, so we have a lot to get into. If this is your first time on the channel, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 300,000 subs, and we do this every single day, so this is the best place to be if you want to stay up to date on the game of baseball. Mike Trout is day-to-day with a left elbow contusion. Now, this is not good because the last time that we heard the word contusion coming from the Angels, it was in regards to Dexter Fowler, a knee contusion. Come to find out, he tore his ACL, so hopefully they get this right, and he's only going to miss a few days. Zach McKinstry, unfortunately, will miss more than a few days. He is going on the IL with a strained oblique. That is actually the same injury that George Springer suffered a few weeks ago. And speaking of George Springer, he is close to returning. He went 1 for 4 in an intra-squad game a few days ago, and considering how good the Blue Jays are offensively, plugging him into that lineup, he is their best player. I know Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is on fire, and Bo Bichette is the real deal. George Springer, when healthy, is the best player on that team. Do not let the Chicago Cubs get hot. Too late. They go off for 15 runs yesterday against the Milwaukee Brewers. They scored 10 in the first 2 innings as Kyle Hendricks goes 6 innings of 2 earned run baseball, as Wilson Contreras finishes it off with a 3-run home run. 8 different members of the Chicago Cubs lineup drove in an RBI, as Jake Marisnick has the game of his life, 5 RBIs. Now, one important note that I do want to make, Anthony Rizzo has 3 home runs and is basically batting .400 over his last 7 games, so they are starting to really click. Another team that just refuses to lose, the A's. They beat the Orioles 3-1 yesterday, so the Cubs win their 4th game in a row. Awesome, tip your cap. The A's are on a 12-game winning streak. That is the longest since the Moneyball winning streak of 20 games back in 2002. Seth Brown and Piscotty, they drive in a few RBIs as Ramon Laureano homers. Cole Irvin goes 5 1/3 with 1 earned run and 6 strikeouts. I think that is 2 consecutive starts in which he has got the W. That has not happened in a long time for Cole Irvin, so props to him. The A's are now top 7 in runs, home runs, walks, and that's pretty much about it, because if we're talking about pitchers, they are second to last in opponent's batting average, so they score a lot of runs, but they also give up a few amount of runs as well. Speaking of giving up a few runs, Casey Mize gave up 6 yesterday as the Royals tagged them for those 6 runs. Andrew Benintendi and O'Hearn, they hit their first home run of the season as Mike Minor took a no-hitter into the 5th inning. And I do want to say, the Royals are in first place in the American League Central, and I have absolutely no idea how that division is going to shape up. Are the Royals going to continue playing really well? Are the Twins and the White Sox going to make some comebacks? Is Cleveland ever going to be not pathetic? Who knows? Let's go ahead and get it out the way because we just brought them up. So for the 2nd consecutive game against the Yankees, Cleveland puts up 3 runs and then they blow it. So they put up 3 runs in the 1st inning in back-to-back games, and then all of a sudden, Rougned Odor becomes the best player in MLB history. He's basically miniature Babe Ruth. Giancarlo Stanton was back in the lineup. He hits a home run of 118 miles an hour and then 116. That is the first time ever in which a player has 2 home runs in the same game that were 115 miles an hour plus. Just absolutely stupid. And then, oh yeah, Aroldis Chapman has 17 strikeouts and a negative .47 FIP in 7 innings. How is that even possible? The Red Sox faced off against the Mariners yesterday, and this was all offense. Both starters were roughed up a little bit as Xander Bogaerts homers and JD Martinez drove in his 21st RBI. Now, luckily, the Sox scored a few more because Kyle Seager hit a 3-run home run in the final inning to put the Mariners within 1 run, but the Red Sox do hold them off 6-5 as they are now number 1 in OPS, and on the pitching side, they're top 10 in team ERA. So the Red Sox on both sides of the diamond playing really well. Blue Jays finally got to Tyler Glasnow. He was electric in his first few starts of the year, but they tagged him for 4 earned runs in the first, as Steven Matz was fantastic until he gave up a 3-run ding-dong to Randy Arozarena, who also made a fantastic web gem. Unfortunately, we just don't have the time to show that. But Steven Matz gets his 4th consecutive win, as Marcus Semien is now up. As Marcus Semien, who had 7 home runs in 53 games last year in 2020, is already up to 5 home runs, but his on-base percentage is down. So his power's up, but he's not getting on base as often. So I don't know, it's kind of a give and take season for Marcus Semien. The moment that you've all been waiting for, Jacob deGrom had one of the best performances in baseball history, because he goes 9 innings, a complete game shutout with 15 strikeouts, and he also drove in a few RBIs, and I think he went 3 for 5. I believe that was his final stat line. So it's just, I mean, when Brandon Nimmo and Dominic Smith drive in a few runs, I mean, deGrom makes history. 50 strikeouts in his first 4 starts of the season. That beats Nolan Ryan and Shane Bieber. They both had 48. Shane Bieber did that a week ago. So when you have Corbin Burnes with 40 strikeouts and 0 walks, Shane Bieber sets a record, and then a few days later, Jacob deGrom breaks that record. Pitchers are playing at an all-time high right now, and Manfred, you know he's sitting back and thinking, how can he fix this? Yo, the mound is about to be moved back 3 feet. Watch it happen. But I need to give a golf clap to Jacob deGrom. He is putting up prime Pedro Martinez, prime Clayton Kershaw numbers. He might be the best player in baseball. I know Mike Trout is insane, but when Jacob deGrom is on the mound and getting 3 hits and driving in runs, seriously, he's up there. The Braves beat the Diamondbacks just barely yesterday. We had a lot of close games. Austin Riley hits a moonshot as Huascar Ynoa drives an RBI for his own cause, as he was the starter of yesterday's game. As Ynoa had a much-needed bounce back, he allowed 2 earned runs in 6 innings of work. Albies with a clutch home run in the 7th, because the Braves, they were a little scary towards the end, but they do just enough to give Will Smith a chance to close that game. Another 5-4 game. The Astros beat the Angels 5-4. The umpires had a few bad calls in this one, I will be honest with you. So if you're an Angels fan, you're probably still upset right now. Both starters were very solid, as Andrew Heaney goes 6 innings with 10 strikeouts, but then the bullpen immediately implodes and they allow a home run. Greinke goes 7 innings, only allows 2. The momentum was fully on the side of the Angels going into the 10th inning, because they scored 2, and then guess what? Raisel Iglesias, he said, I'm going to go ahead and take the day off as well. I'm going to put in my paid time off, my PTO. You guys can take care of it tomorrow, because I'm going to go ahead and give the Astros a win, and that's exactly what happened. So sorry, Angels fans, that was a tough loss. The Twins blanked the Pirates yesterday. I don't know how Williams Astudillo hit this baseball out, and then Jake Cave made it 2-0, as J.A. Happ, who gets clowned on a lot, including by me, he took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. He lowers his season ERA to 1.7, as the Twins improved to 2-8 in their last 10 games. Again, I have no idea who's going to win that division, but that was a big-time W from the Twins. Speaking of the AL Central, the White Sox were able to escape with a victory over the Rangers, 9-7. Yoan Moncada and Mercedes, they go off in the 3rd inning. They drive in 6 RBIs combined by the end of the game. Mercedes refuses to stop hitting. Moncada has a .320 batting average and 9 RBIs in his last 7 games. And then side note, Adolis Garcia of the Rangers hit another home run. He has 7 RBIs in his last 2 games. The Cardinals and the Rockies both came away with a victory yesterday, and both scores ended at 5-4. So the Cardinals beat the Reds 5-4, as Molina, Goldie, and Arenado jump out to a 5-0 lead, and then Kim was locked in for the Cardinals. He goes 5 2/3, only allows 1 earned run, and racks up 8 strikeouts, as the Cardinals are a very roller coaster team. I don't know how many wins they're going to get. I'm expecting 80 to 85, but wow, they are one of the most inconsistent teams in baseball. And then, like I said, the Rockies won by a score of 5-4. They basically won the game with home runs, 4 home runs, and then a random Ryan McMahon RBI single, as Ramil Tapia is off to a very solid start in 2021. With this walk-off bomb, he has 3 home runs and a 110 OPS plus when the average is 100, so he is 10 points above average already. The Giants beat the Marlins 5-3, as Mike Yastrzemski hits a tater in the 3rd inning, and Flores starts a rally in the 7th. Could you imagine if the Dodgers had kept Alex Wood and Jake McGee? Because Alex Wood, he went 7 innings, 1 hit, 7 strikeouts, and I know the ending was a little bit scary with Jake McGee, but McGee is already up to 7 saves. So even without those guys, the Dodgers are really good. And let's go ahead and end the video with the Dodgers because Fernando Tatis showed up yesterday. This series is must-watch TV. I know that Shane Bieber and Garrett Cole are pitching today, but I don't know. Between Bieber versus Cole and the Padres versus the Dodgers, I might be watching some of that Dodgers game. So Myers starts it off. Tatis hits 2 home runs on the 22nd anniversary of his dad hitting 2 grand slams in 1 inning. That is just not supposed to happen. That is the baseball gods really just doing their job and kind of stirring the pot and say, oh, your dad did this 22 years ago. You're going to hit 2 home runs on the same day. And the second one was a little bit showboaty. He kind of stutters, rounding third as the Padres win 6-1 because Yu Darvish was on the mound. He goes an electric 7 innings, 1 earned run, and 9 strikeouts. That does it for today's recap. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm sorry if I went through this one a little bit fast. That's because we had so much to talk about. I didn't realize that there were that many games. But there you go. We did that in about, what, 10, 11 minutes? So I'm saving you some time. So if you want to save yourself some time and do this every single day, hit that subscribe button. I got you guys covered. Stay safe, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.